God. He's like everything he said is like it sounds like he's gonna pass out. Oh, what the fuck? Huh? What? What is going on? Huh? Yeah, I have no idea. Picture. Picture. Oh no. Hello? Grandma, I'm sorry. I'm chilling. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. I think this is where we can die. I wonder if we have to go around. Let's see. Oh no, we have to go through it. Okay, let me put my cassette back first. Just in case I lost progress. At least it's not too far of a progress. So we've heard the cassette. We kind of need the rest. Dude, 7 out of 8. Fuck me. Why does this game have inventory management? Why? For what? It just makes things a little bit harder than it's supposed to be. Phobia was scarier than this, and it's a shooter? I don't know. Alright, jump scare.
What the fuck is happening in this house?
Did I just miss the jump scare again? Oh my fucking god. Alright. Ah! Whatever. Oh my fucking god. Blam. Puzzle has been solved. Now what? What am I supposed to do? Oh? Hello? Am I doing it wrong? 5 years old. Albert Maxwell. 51. 38 plus 13. 51. Wait, what the fuck? What are you doing here? What the fuck is that? $51. Well, I got an achievement. Take 100 photos. Oh shit. Am I supposed to put it differently? In different order? I don't get it. Oh! The statue missing again. Is that by design? What the heck? Am I doing something right or wrong? I don't get it. I'm confusion. Dude, the puzzle is too advanced. What do you want? Oi! Oh, I'm gonna fucking 360 and you'll be gone. okay. Boom. Alright. Oh! Alright. I still have no idea what am I supposed to do. I'm gonna be honest. My ADHD is catching up as well. This is not good. 5 years old, Albert Maxwell. 33, Pasquale Maxwell. Oh, he's gone again. We keep moving, huh? What the fuck do you want? Bitch. Giovina Maxwell, 56 years old. Philomena Maxwell, 68 years old. Is the door supposed to be open? Or is that just... Wait a minute. Look at that. I think we're supposed to put a bigger... It's not this. Look. The box is too small. We need... Ooh, that's interesting. Oh. So it's not our dad. It's supposed to be someone else. That's interesting. But who? Who? Maybe I can put my grandpa's picture somewhere here with our grandma? No. Who? Who? Oh, what's that sound? Nothing. Is this meant to scare you? What a bullshit. I think you had it? No, I was. What? Is just a certain order the pics are supposed to be in? What do you mean? It's not supposed to be according? Like, goes accordingly? But how does that work? What's the logic behind that? I thought if puzzles like this, you're supposed to put it in order. According. Oh yeah, you're right. Okay. So I'm supposed to be correct here, right? So I'm just supposed to do something else extra. I'm missing. This? No. This? No. I have no clue. Even if we have to reorder this, in what order? That's the thing that got me confused. 43. Oh, add and subtract. So this is 5. So we need to get 43, right? This is 33. 43, 5, 63. How is this add and subtract works here? 56. 50. Oh my god, my brain. 56, 43, 43. 10 plus 33 is 43. 10 plus 33 is 43. 6. 10 plus 33 is 43. 56 minus 33 is 23. 13 plus 5 is 18. Dude. My brain's too bright for this. Plus 38 is 43. This is 5 years old Maxwell. How the fuck I can get a 38? This is a 68. Okay, let me note it down. My brain does not compute. So we have 5, 68, right? And then we have 56. Right. And then finally we have 33. I hear someone. Oh, the audio got cut off. So we got 5, 33. See, the random sound does not make sense. It's so dumb. 56 minus 33 is 23. How the fuck do you do the fucking math in this shape, bro? Six three with 43. 56 minus 33 5 3 20 20 23 23. Wait, 68 6 2 is 12. With 68 3 is 6 3 3 6 6 8 3. So there's like 30 35. Huh? How the fuck do I do the equation? This is 33. The only thing to know is there are 24 different ways you can arrange the 4 paintings, so you're just trying some shit. I am not trying things for 24 times. Okay. For some reason I get a feeling 5 is gonna be here. And then voila. Okay. 38, 13. How do you get 13? 56 minus 33 is 23 or 13? Wait, no, that's 13. Yeah. 56 minus 33. So 56 is... I think this one is 56. This. 56. Minus 33. So 30.
I'm carrying too much already.
Fuck off. Hi. Mwah. So that is 13. So 38. 68, 13, 68, 68, 68. I have no idea. First of all, we need to figure out how the fuck do we calculate shit. Hey, what are you up there? Hey, go down. Oh, it's actually go away. No, the door sounds came from the wall. Wow. Wait! Huh? Okay, never mind. I thought I figured something. How do you differentiate between add and subtract, and which way does it go? Alright, David, you can give me another... You can give me another clue without really hinting me. Because I don't think I can do this. I'm gonna be honest. Math at night, Red, you need a doctor. Dude, there's nothing I can do. I'm playing a horror game. There's happens to be a math in it. If I want to progress, I have to deal with it. Hold up. Oh shit, my food is close. So it's randomized? God, my fucking brain. You need the H on the portrait and the invisible number on the wall. The fuck do you mean invisible number? Is there something that I need to take a picture of that I didn't see? I know we were trying to reach 43. This can be done by either adding or subtracting the two numbers together. As far as the question marks behind it, maybe? Oh my god, I hate that. I actually started to hate the fucking number bullshit. The camera bullshit. What does it even mean, 38? Wait, 33 plus 5 is 38. So how the fuck do we just put 2 of them into one spot? I don't think we can do that. Yeah. Unless maybe I put the 5 this. This is so dumb. Okay, so that means 10, 33,
I need to make room first.
Fuck you. Okay, I figured it out now. So this guy goes here because 33 plus 10 is 43. This one was what? Forgot. Fucking what? Who? 38. 38 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 43. So Maxwell goes here. Boom. Now you. Uh, 25. 25 plus 8. 68. You come over here, you dipshit, and you go there. Open sesame. Well, what? Jump scare. The door just farted at me. Nice. I just got farted. Oh, my food is here. Okay. I'll let you guys look over for what's the most entertaining corner here. I guess here. This looks nice. Alright. Give me a sec. I'll be right back. smells so nice. Holy shit. Get a bite. Mmm. Any chicken? No. It's what do you call it? Like a banana and I don't know what you call it in English. Some like bleh. I don't know what it's called. I'm gonna be honest.
I am not going in there without a light.
Pussy. Oh my god, I have to hold. Who the fuck have a hold lighter? It's so lame. 1 sec. Alright, I'm back. Sorry, I was trying to get a Le Fork. It's a classic lighter. Oh, it's like the OG stuff, like old school lighter. You have to hold it. Interesting. Oh my god, so good. I'm back from Valorant. Welcome back. How you doing, Gara? Jump scare imminent, boys.
There are handprints on the walls.
That's a dead body. Or is this a plastic bag? A plastic watering can.
The handprints stopped.
Oh! Okay. The game tells me to not use a fucking camera. Alright, I got you. Fuck you, bitch. Alright, left or straight? Let's go left. Yeah, it's like those antique lighters. I see, I see. Oi, zui, oi, zui. Left or right? Left or right? Right. Right or oh, fuck off. There's so many pathways. I don't fucking know where to go. You shitting me, mate? You shitting me? Oh my god. Is it a get? Is this a fucking maze? How's your Valorant, Gara? Oh, we're back. Hit plat 3. We lost it in on our last game. Unlucky. One of my bros actually sells collectible lighters, and he gifted me one, but I refuse. It's functional. Ah, why'd you take it? It's kind of cool. Roy. But I guess if you don't use it, then I guess it's no use. Okay, so I'm starting to figure out the pattern. Kojimbo. Shut the fuck up. Awoo. Let's go right. If it goes right, then go back. It does go right. Why am I keep going? I don't know. Let's just keep going. Oh, new area. I prefer the usual one, less likely to be robbed when out and about. I see. Makes sense. Makes sense. Oh my god. My dick. I mean, what? Yo, this is annoying, man. Oh! Okay. Okay. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Why are we supposed to follow? It's so dumb. Oh my god! Oh, okay.
I gotta get out.
Holy shit, that was good. The jumps. I don't think the jump scare was calculated. I think the jump scare was like, what do you call it? It's like I don't fucking know, dude. I don't think it was supposed to be like that. That was so dumb. It happens twice in a row. It looks so dumb.
Graveyard? How did I get here? I hate graveyards.
Alexis Di Stefano. Who? Then Greg. The blue one. That's me. Heather. (1953) Ryan Cran. I bet some of these are Easter egg from the developers. Usually developers like to put things like that in this kind of stuff.
This place seems abandoned.
Jump scare imminent. Too many gates left and right on a hallway. There's usually a jump scare. St. Jupiter's Cathedral? Alright. Hello, I've been here and I don't know forever. It's okay, what's up, Suggs?
God.
What the fuck is this stairs?
This goes down really deep.
This looks really wrong because we don't have a body. Oh my god!
God. How did I end up here?
The fuck do I sound like that? Oh my god. Okay. St. Jupiter's Cathedral is finally closing its doors. After long years of carelessness and the lack of people responsible for the institution, the government decided it is time to put an end to its service. According to reports from residents of the area, St. Jupiter's Cathedral is in complete state of neglect, and the government announcement is nothing more than a political move in the face of next month's elections. According to reports, it's important to reminisce its sadly long list of incidents, among which we highlight the death of 13 workers during the cathedral's construction between years 47 to 49. Convention of Nancy Goring, who was handed into the police by priest Louis III himself. The massively disowned public wake of serial killer Madison Hale. The shooting of the year 92 in which 10 children and 5 adults tragically died. The suicide of Father George. The Jupiter's finally closing in its doors 2015. Let's see. What do you mean? I was not being mean. Hey, watching horror games, playing horror games that I just cannot resist. Welcome. Visit our biblical art mazes. Our mazes get updated every year. Blue maze. Straight, left, right, right. Huh? Straight, huh? Straight, left, right, right. Huh? Straight, left, right, right. Right? Straight, left. Huh? Wait. Straight, left, right, right. Straight, left, right, right. Straight, left, right, right. Yeah. Straight, left, right, right. Straight, left, right, right. 1987. Erected. Cook. All right. I can't see shit, bro. Straight, left. Wait. Where the hell am I? Huh?
This is impossible. This place didn't look like this a second ago.
Blue maze. Blue maze. Okay. It's this one. Straight, left, right, right. How many photos does that camera have? It's a mythical one. Man. Straight, left. Wait, there's no left. What? Oh, here. So left, right. And then... Wait. How do you determine when to go right? The fuck? Hold up, hold up, hold up. There's so many... Wait, hold up. Hola. We the boys. Hola. Made them noise. What is the... What's... Okay, hold up. Let me get another bite. So, straight. I still have no idea how the fuck do you read this. What? Am I dumb? How the fuck do you read this? Is this like the first left and the first right? Is that it? Or well, okay, I got it. Watch this. First try. Right. First. We're gonna go until we touch the wall. Okay, too far. Now we go right. Now we go right. Aha. I forgot. Straight, left, right, right. Wait, straight, left, right, right. Straight, left, right, right. And then... Wait, what? I cannot put anything. Am I supposed to put something based on the picture? Okay, I saw this picture of Jesus Christ. Wait, there's this picture. Oh! Does it want the fucking picture? No, I guess not. I don't get it. I'm not too sure what are we supposed to do here. So we found a room, but what do we do in the room? I have no idea. I guess we'll come back to that later. Check out what else is there.
The color of life, the color of peace, the color of our little angels. The color of death, the color of wine, the color of Jesus' blood.
Mmm. Red candle.
And the color of that underwear.
Okay. Yellow maze. Straight, left, right. Straight, left, long straight, short left, long right. My gosh.
Was that the bell I heard at the graveyard?
Yes. Yeah. So long straight, which is this. Short left and short right, and we found it. And the same shit. Huh? I see. So we need to find things first around the fucking stuff in order to be able to fill those stuff with the stuff. You know what I mean?
Madison Hale? Is this her coffin?
Oh my god.
The eye is missing.
Oh, like in the fucking game title. Wow. Almost finished. I heckin' love banana. Okay. Up. My frame's dropping, by the way. Oh, am I supposed to take a picture? Oh, I am. You like that picture, Madison? Does this even do anything? I don't think so. Maybe if I take a picture closer. Oh shit! What can we stop for now? I bet we're not gonna need the hammer right now and the shovel. Probably the shovel, yes, but fuck it. Take a picture and threaten her that you will post it on Twitter without filter. Whoa! Jesus Christ! Alright, green mace. We go there. What's up, Hadian? How's the game? Looks good. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, the pacing's very slow though. Super long straight, medium right. Sounds like fucking rally. Assistant thingy. Medium right, medium left, straight, bumpy road, straight. Okay, I found it again, but we're still missing the items for these stuff. So what am I supposed to do? Do I just leave it? I don't think so. I think we're supposed to activate these immediately. This game is so confusing. Oh, the red. Ooh, this one's hard. Medium straight, short left. Short, medium straight, short left, long right. Okay, straight, left. Okay, 3 straight, 1 left, 3 right, 2 left, 3 left, 1 right. Okay, hold up. My memory cannot handle that. Okay. I literally just note my what yeah. need to note that. Oh, very sleepy CFO. Alright, Nell. Thank you for stopping by. Great to have you this long. Appreciate it. See you around. Eh? Oh, wrong one. I'm already lost. Great. Wait a minute. I'm actually lost. What? Oh, here. Okay. So 3 straight, 1 left. It's a very short left, and then 3 right. That means that's a long right. Let me go over here, and then go over here. This is. Maybe it's a 2 right. Means it's over here. And then medium. And then long. Oh, over here. There we go. Now the problem is that what the fuck do I put on the rest of the things? Like what might? Like what? You what, mate? You what? This is full of strawberry Gatorade. It's a color thingy. I don't know what to do right now. I'm gonna be honest, chat. I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of dumb. I think I need to change time periods to get different items, maybe, with the camera in that room. Oh, so what you're trying to tell me is that green room, green maze, red maze, yellow maze. Is that it? Oh! Blue candle. And every year it has a different maze. Interesting, interesting. Hello, ma'am.
Hello? Excuse me?
Me again.
Brad True.
Nancy. I did it. I finally did it. You have to understand. It was like living with a monster. No, he never loved me. He was a liar. He lied to me. He lied to you. He lied to everyone. He was a liar. He lied to himself. He tried to pretend he didn't have the past he did. He wasn't a vile, disgusting, despicable piece of garbage. You know, he just wanted to marry me, to get away from his crimes. He knew he couldn't stay in Germany. He knew his past was coming to get him. He knew it. He tried to pretend it was all gone, but it wasn't gone. It chased him, it hunted him, it hunted me. Father, you have to understand it. You're in charge of a gas chamber. He took so many innocent lives. He destroyed them. He just...
Oh, I see.
There were days I would look into his eyes and I would see a void. Emptiness, just nothing looking back at me. He was already dead. Only God knows how many lives he had taken, but not anymore. I made sure he would not hurt another person. I made sure that he suffered.
Whoa, okay. I don't think that's...
I know God will forgive me for my sins.
I don't know about that.
Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come.
Okay,
Your will be done.
I don't think that's how it
on
works.
earth as it is in heaven. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name.
Oh, this is cool.
Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth.
Jump scare alert.
Another candle.
Ay, fita. Huh?
My hand. What the fuck was that?
Wait, what? What just happened?
I gotta get out of this place.
Do I though? Okay. I guess we don't want to solve the puzzle in this area.
Our Father in heaven,
I'm not too sure.
hallowed be your name.
I'm so confused.
Your will be done on earth.
The color of the sky, the color of the sea,
Father in heaven,
the color of Mary's tears,
your kingdom come.
the color of light, the color of the sun, the color of our Father.
So it's yellow. This is blue.
Your kingdom
Jesus is red, and then
on earth as it is.
green is the. Hey. Okay, I'm out. All right. Jesus, man. All right, man. Calm down, bruh. Oh wait, I don't think we want to go back to 2022 though. Is that green, purple, red? We're missing one. Ah, never mind. We want to go
Yellow
here.
candle.
Okay. I guess now we can solve the puzzle in the 1987. Stop. That transition is really unnecessary, I'm gonna be honest. But, oh well. Okay, straight, left, right, right. I need my blankie. Go get one. Go get it, go get it. Okay, so Jesus is red. This is yellow. And this is blue. Now what?
The color of Mary's tears.
Okay. So that is... that stays there. Now what? Huh? Don't we need... okay, I don't know. I am so confused. but whatever. Green maze. Long straight, right, right. Which one is green again? There it is. Oh my god, it's already 2 a.m. After we finish this section, I'm gonna stop. Okay? It's getting a little bit too late. So yellow on you, red on you, and green on you. Bam.
The color of our angels.
The game spam the horror violin sound effects way too often. Even on things that's not supposed to be scary, they put it there. It's like, huh? Like the hell, man, the hell. Oh wait, I don't know how to go to the red. Oh my god. Sorry. Where the fuck is the other pamphlet again? It's green. The hell is yellow? My god, my FPS is dropping. I swear we've seen all of them. How did I forget? Maybe it's up here. My lord. No, I don't think I can finish it. Oh yeah, I was right. Straight, left, right. I forgot where did I find the red one. Straight, left, right. Okay. I cannot stay up late today. Apparently I gotta wake up early tomorrow. I forgot I gotta go to my mom's place. So I'm gonna end it right after this. I'm not gonna go to sleep immediately either. I'm gonna stay up a little bit longer. Okay, now what the Okay, now how the fuck do I do this? Bichachos. Hey. If I'm missing 2 more, how am I supposed to do this, bitch? Huh? I don't get it. Wait. I think... Okay, if my way of thinking is correct, I bet the candle stays in the other years, but different room kind of thing. I forgot 1 on green? No, you cannot take it. Once you get it correct, the candle stays there.
Your will be done on earth.
Kind of thing.
Hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done.
Now the question is...
Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom
Straight,
come.
right.
Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Father in heaven.
Oh my god, okay. Alright, Jesus Christ.
Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name.
Okay, chill, man. thing is chasing me. This is not good. I got a feeling the ghost is chasing me around in this year. Shit. Gotta go fast. No, it's not. What? I don't... Huh? I'm so confused. Huh? So have you already solved the other stuff? How the fuck? How am I supposed to get past? Oh no, I'm gonna get stabbed. Alright, jump scare chat. I'm sorry. He's blocking our way. Fuck! Yo, please, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Oh my god, alright, Jesus Christ, man. Jesus, man. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get the fuck out, bruh. Alright, chill, man. Chill, bruh. Wait a minute. Wait, no, I'm not gonna try it. Alright, can you not roam around, bitch?
Your will be done.
He just wants your autograph.
Okay.
Our Father in heaven.
Okay, so how the fuck are we supposed to do it then? Yeah, this game spams this spooky sound effects way too fucking often, to the point where I'm just tired of hearing it. This game has got the similar vibe to that one game that the only way it's it didn't do anything. What am I supposed to do? You're missing something that you have to take a picture of it again? Huh? What do you mean? You know that room with the picture and the information written in front of it? The room with the picture. The room with the picture. I don't think I know what you mean. Oh no, I'm lost. Okay, I'm good. The room that explains the painting? Oh. Oh my god. What does that do? Huh? Wait, no, I already know that.
The color of life, the color of peace, the color of our little angels.
I already know the corresponding color of for each image. Like, what I'm trying to know is that how can we solve all 4 puzzle if we need at least 3 for all of them, but if after every single puzzle that we solve, we have to leave a candle. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? How are we able to solve the rest? If that's the case. You know? That what I don't understand. Like after, if we solve every room, every one room, we leave the candle that solves that room. Just have to try the right painting and color combo in every time period, I guess. There should be 4 candles, yeah. Oh, okay. I know what you mean. I think. I'm not too sure. I think I know what you mean. Let's give it a shot. So yellow puzzle, I only need to drop the yellow candle. Okay, there's no yellow here. There's the green, blue, red. There should be 4 candles, right? 2 candles go in one time period and 1 in the others. If you mean finding the candles, no. All the 4 candles scattered around, and you can only get 4 candles. That's it. And there are 8 puzzles that you have to solve, but scattered, split into 2 timeline. Once. Does that make sense? Like right now, I understand that our 2 go in one on time thingy and 2 go in another. But the problem is that we cannot solve it if we don't have 3 candles in it. Like for example, this one. Right? When I solve this, the fuck? Oh. When I solve this, like the blue one solved here, right? I gotta put red here and yellow here in order for the blue one to get correct. And once it's correct, I cannot take it anymore. So now -1 candle. Well, -2 because I solved 2. No, 3 don't go in one time. 2 go in one time and 2 go in another. Okay, but how do we solve the other 2? I get what you mean. Right now we solve 2 in this timeline. So you're telling me that I need to solve the other 2 in the other timeline. But how are we supposed to solve that when we have less candle? You need to find where the other candle fits in the time. No way. So you're telling me if I leave the candle here, like that blue candle I leave there in this timeline, if I go back in time, that blue candle will still be there in another puzzle room? That is so fucking confusing, but okay. Jesus Christ. I don't think so. Okay, then what? I'm actually confused. Oh, sorry. I think you just need to find where one more candle fits here, where you cannot pick it up anymore. But it's impossible to do that. We only have 2 candles, right? For example, yellow earlier. Oh, if you're talking, yeah, in this timeline, I already solved 2, blue and green, I think. Yeah, I think I solved green. Here. So now we have 2 more candles, red and yellow. This is such a shitty puzzle or a horror game. So you gotta walk around in a very slow pace like this while being jump scared by some random ass violin song. It's just an obnoxious. Alright, let's go to the other timeline. I like to imagine a violent him just following behind you. He's like, yeah, exactly. He's like, hey, shut the fuck up. Alright, so we still haven't solved yellow and red.
On Earth, as it is.
Now, we tried yellow, right, earlier. We cannot solve it. That's the problem. When we tried to solve it, we were lacking 1 more candle to fill in. That's where the issue comes, the blue. So if I put red here and yellow here, which is correct.
The color.
Okay, fuck you, game. Doesn't make. Okay, I fucking hate this. Oh my god. That does not make sense! What the f- I don't know. I don't know anymore. Whatever.
As it is in heaven.
Whatever, dude.
Our Father in heaven.
Shut the fuck up! I don't give a shit about you anymore. Alright, can you not? I know you're here just to jump scare me. I get it. Because I only need to solve 1 more. I get it. You're annoyed that I'm smart. Well, I'm sorry. There's nothing you can do about it. Wait. I don't have the candle for it. The fuck? There's no Jesus in this one. Dude, I don't know anymore. It's so dumb. What am I supposed to do now? Maybe not in the red room? No, shut the fuck up. Why are you following me all the way in this corridor anyway? You're not supposed to be able to enter this place. top. I don't even know how to fucking. Oh. There it is. I swear to God, he slashed me, and I got damage. I'm done. What is going on here? What does he keep doing it? Am I supposed to die? No, I'm not. I respawn. Okay, progress saved. Ha. Maybe I need to do the red room in the other timeline?
Your kingdom come. Your
Do you think that makes sense?
on earth as it is.
I don't think so. Let's try the blue. This is really confusing. I'm gonna be honest. So we know red does not work in this timeline. So I guess we gotta go to the middle timeline. I have no idea. And we try to make it work over there. Maybe?
Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name.
I'm just speed running this bitch. Hey, fuck you. Alright, so we're going to the red room. Roy.
The color
That
of
is so
Jesus.
dumb. It actually works. So it's just trial and error. So that's 3 in the middle timeline and 1 in the oldest timeline. David. What's up, Yui? La 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 la. What? And thingy thing got stuck. So instead of using logical thinking, it's a trial and error. While being chased by a stabby stab. Yeah, it's randomized. I forgot. It's not. The only reason they make it randomized is so that we need to deal with the husband ghost thingy that stabs you. Ooh, the key. The key. Confessionary. So that means we can open the door to... Where the fuck is confessionary? Oh, are we about to open the door for Nancy? Right? Wait, no. Confessionary is this. Huh? This is what confessionary is. What? Wait, no, confessionary is here. Oh, it is the other one. Now we're going back to the other timeline again. Nancy! Get the fuck out!
Hans Goring?
That is such a weird... Oh? What is that for? Which timeline is that for? Oh my god! Okay, 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 I'm out. Jesus Christ. He's waiting for us. Oh, no. The middle timeline is for the tomb. It's for Madison. Oh, it's for the eye.
Madison Hill. 1944. 1987.
Jesus Christ, man. The disrespect.
Is this her skull?
Okay. How are we gonna use it for? Oh my god. Jump scare at the end of the hallway. Oh, show.
Max.
Yeah. Oh no. Ooh. Oh, it's one of those things. Whoever voiced this game must have chucked so many guns. Come on, man. He's just...
It's sealed off.
He's just being in character. You know? I can feel like this game is definitely inspired by what do you call it? Jump scare. Wait, what? Inspired by the what is that game about the insane painter chat that we played? That got a sequel? Like
What?
Oh, this is the kind of jump scare where it's like repetition until you cannot figure out where the jump scare is. No way! Oh my god, dude. Oh wait, scripted death? Scripted death. No way I have to do that again. Okay, this is dumb. no way I have to do that again. Dude.
Bricks?
Dude, no. This is dumb. You literally just... We died just to do this dumbass predictable shit again?
It's sealed off.
Are you shitting my ass? Yeah. So basically when he appeared, he do the jump scare thingy, we run back. I guess that's what we do. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Boom. Boom.
What?
Oh, it's this one. Alright, get ready, Chad. We're gonna run. You ready? In 3, 2, 1. Go.
God. The attic. The attic.
Pussy 2. Oh my god. So what does that do? What does that progress? Do we even progress?
John? This is the 4th time I've tried to call you. Priest Thomas speaking. I was able to finally get the information you asked for, and the truth is, I'm worried about your family. Generally speaking, demons try to complete simple rituals to break the bondage of their souls. To carry out this ritual, you must rid yourself of an object with important sentimental value to you. Offer it as a sacrifice. There were practitioners of witchcraft who became haunted as a result of their thievery and dishonesty. They used to steal jewelry from ancient dynasties as to avoid performing the sacrifice directly for themselves with their own sentimental objects. They bought the sacrifice with the emotions of others. But this perverse being is trying to go beyond even that. We are speaking of an ancient ritual, of which very little is known. 7 sacrifices, 7 mutilations.
7
I believe we are facing a body exchange type of ritual. Madison Hale was trying to complete such a ritual before she was murdered, and now she is forcing your child to finish it for her. She is trying to steal your son's body.
Body exchange
Call me
ritual?
as soon as you get this
Is
message.
that what she's after?
Interesting. Oh my god. Well, now we got Madison's skull. Guess we gotta put that somewhere, but I think we are good to go here, Chatterino. People. People. Let me, definitely gonna need the hammer again. I don't think we've need the shovel yet. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna put the hammer down. What? Okay. I've got a secret. Yeah, okay. Oh, fuck. This game is longer than I thought it would be. Not gonna lie. What the fuck? Alright. I'm gonna save around here So I know that last time we got a phone call. Okay. Wait, what's the extra? Camera skin? Okay, devs. Why do... Why? Why is this a thing? Alright. Collectibles. Oh my god. I think we're definitely more than halfway. For sure. For sure. How long have we been playing that? Like 3 hours or something? I feel like that was it was not the best, but it was not bad either. My only problem with it is that there are two issues that I have problem with that game. One, the pacing was so fucking slow at first. That oh my god, internet. What a timing. What a fucking timing. Alright. You guys should be able to hear me now. Or hear me again. But yeah. Um were you is this supposed to be a long game? First of all, I have no idea. Because obviously, you know, it's like how can I know? It's a brand new game. A brand new game. That was actually a very good timing to stop because right now my internet is dropping so hard. Like upload speed is 1 to 2 megabits. Megabit? Yeah. Madison HLTV. It doesn't even have an HLTV yet. It's that new. Madison. I like how the Steam store showcases the ghosts, but we never seen the ghosts at all throughout our whole gameplay. They made it so blurry. Four hours in. Yeah, this game is Zite. I'm gonna be honest. It's not the most amazing thing ever. Vertigris made a song. Like song, like Spotify, or they just like upload random. I don't know. Maybe they're just like an aspiring musician. What? Mm-hmm. I was a collab with Jore. Mirage Requiem. Yeah, Jore make songs. This is not Ferd to Gris. This is not Gris songs. This is Jore collab with Gris. Oh my god. All right. Yep. Okay. Wait. Okay, the skeleton clapping and the clapping sound effect is not synced. That mess with my... Okay. I mean... Okay, the collab is not... This is not Gris at all in terms of like music. Gris only do the video. Like the art stuff. So the music is purely Jore. So, I mean, it's a collab of a music video, technically. Which is cool. Okay. It's very rare. But I guess it's like, you know, artists, ex-artists. That's cool. That's cool. Music's not really my type. That, yeah, that was... Yeah, I mean... Yeah. Not my thing, but I can see it being you know, some people who like, I don't know what I don't know what you even call that, glitch pop, I guess, breakbeat. I guess that counts as breakbeat. Well, okay, come on, man. I think those is called breakbeat. So, for example, breakbeats are like something like... Wait, it's not breakbeat? Yeah, I don't know. I thought breakbeat is oh, it is yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm actually surprised Spotify doesn't have a breakbeat playlist. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Breakbeat? What is this? Okay, this is just angel beats. This is angelic breakbeats. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, this is basically breakbeat. Yeah, basically, it's very literal. Breakbeat is like songs that just like you know, the beats are breaking apart like very suddenly here and there. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Not really my kind of thing, but it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of like cool stuff. Cool stuff. Yeah. Oh my fucking god. Is breakbeat and breakcore the same thing? Because I kind of listened to a bunch of breakcore back then. I guess it's called breakcore. Oh. Like this stuff. There we go. All right, that's copyrighted. Yeah, you know what I mean. This is basically the reason why I added Milkman Rafe. Okay, what is this? Have you seen... Ooh, Lord of the Ring Golem gameplay reveal? Nani? Okay, okay. Hold up. What's... Oh. There you go. I don't know. I mean, it's some kind of a break beat, I guess, or breakcore. I don't know. Anything that sounds like those kind of sounds usually have the break or glitch in the genre. If you want to hear stuff like that. Not a big fan of it, but some of them I like them. Like very specific of them, like fucking that mouse orange files. It's not available on Spotify for some fucking reason. Like this I like. Because even though the beats are very breakcore-ish, you can still recognize the pattern, and the music is very chill. I don't know. I love that mouse. I'm a little bit biased, probably. I don't know. Alright, Golem. Gameplay reveal.
Some calls us Gollum. What is it, precious? The precious, of course. The precious. We want it. We want it. We must stay in the shadows.
No way.
Get to higher ground. What if he watches us, the Dark Lord? What if he sees?
You know, the thing is that I'm not even surprised because the game, the developer is, what is the developer again? Daedalic. Like they, you know, Depona, Shadow Tactics. Shadow Tactics was not a bad game at all. Okay, this is publishers. It's an in-house Daedalic developers. That's the problem. I don't think they have like I don't think they have like I don't know, man. What did they develop? Oh, we don't even know. Do you not see the pure excitement? Yeah. I know, right? Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not surprised. To find a developer team to make this game, and they decided to go with Daedalic. Daedalic. I don't fucking know how to pronounce that. I'm not saying that they're a bad developers, but I don't even know like a game developed by Daedalic that's popular. You know? Yeah, so yeah, man. They publish a bunch of games, But developed, that's a whole different thing, man. That's a whole different thing. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna play that game. Gonna be honest. I'm not too excited about it. I'm not a big fan of Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, the movies are fucking amazing, but I'm not like huge fan of it that I wanna, you know, play it. I'm a pass. I bet the gameplay is probably not my liking anyway. And it's a hentai game. Nice. Whoa! Klonoa? Ooh. Don't force yourself. Oh shit. Whoa, what the fuck is this? Was this a sequel? Damn, AI got another one. Jesus. Oh my god, my throat's so dry. Jesus. What is this hypercharge game? It's been out from 2020, and why have I never heard of this? Have we seen this before? You know Little Noah? I've seen it, but is it good? It didn't call my attention. I thought it was just like a VN or something.
Follow me!
Oh, that game, Xbox players harass the devs for delaying it. Ah, good old gamers being bitch ass. El Clasico. Are we even surprised at this point? Ew. Oh my god, the devs delaying the game. Oh my god, I hate the devs. And then when the devs rush the game because everyone complained, but they cannot finish the game properly because everyone rushing them. Oh my god, the devs were rushing the game. They should have taken their time. Why the fuck they rush the game so much? Oh my god, devs so dumb. You know, honestly, I'm gonna tell you, Sane, those people that harass the developer for not releasing, for delaying the game for the sake of quality, you should tell them to touch some grass. Like, no joke. Like, they have so much free time. They harass a fucking nerds that make games for a living. Cause I don't fucking know, they have too much time in their hands. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, what the fuck? Bunch of fucking weirdos. I need to talk to those guys. Oh man, oh fucking oh man. Some people are fucking weird. But, well, anyways, chat, I'm gonna end it here. It's been fun. I'm glad we actually played some horror game again. Even though it's not really the brightest one, at least it's something that's actually decent. Rather than just straight up bad or short. Harassing devs is my favorite thing to do. Let me get it. You. Too much time wasted on puzzle than getting scared. Exactly. Well, I feel like, honest quick review for Madison. Honestly, not a bad game at all. It's just that, I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff that I wish they would change because it feels so off. Like for some reason, like for example, motherfucking the pacing on the first half of the game, or like the first 1 hour or two, was so boring, was so slow that I'm not joking around. I was trying my best to keep going for the sake of you guys. Because we haven't played horror game for so long, I was holding back to from Alt F4. I am not joking. I was so close on like the first couple hours, the first 1 or 2 hours. I was so close on saying, you know what, Chad? I'm good with this game. Let's try another game. Like I was like so close on saying that. Because the first 2 hours is so slow. Like, Jesus Christ. It did pick up like around 3 hours where it gets interesting. Like when it's starting to show like the cops shot the Madison scene at the water, the sewage, the no, the basement. The basement, it start kicking up. But the first 2 hours, oh my fucking god. And the devs really should like, you know, be warned with that, because a lot of people, the first 2 hours, if they get bored, they will just refund the game. Steam limit for refunding is 2 hours. If people get bored of your game before 2 hours, they will just refund. Just they need to fix their pacing for next game, because the game looks pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. They almost achieved the photorealism like the Visage does, but animation is a little bit budgety. You can clearly see the animation is. It's an indie. It's an indie game, so you're not expecting some AAA quality, obviously. But Visage is also an indie game, and they managed to make the game looks very, very fucking creepy. Like that game until this day still freaks me the fuck out. Phasmo VR would be better. Nah, Phasmo is not scary anymore after you try it too many times. You should play Phasmo with us. I bet you never played. Mm-hmm. Pussy. I'm kidding. You mean the time they hired the violent Tim? Yeah, that's also like I can see that the developer is inspired by some of those like what do you call it? Like what's that game again that I said earlier? I already forgot again. The insane artist. Whatever that game is called, I forgot. I need to be on the local news about someone having heart attack while in VR. Scares are so embarrassing. I was watching like, yeah, exactly. Like some of them are actually like you know, whoa, scary, whoa. But a lot of them are just a little bit forced, like very loud, violin, very loud shrieks, followed with a sudden like animation pop up. And some of them were just straight up hilarious, like the fucking statue that was dragging along the hallway. That does not look scary. I'm sorry. If anything, that looks hilarious, or a little bit ridiculous. It's not funny because it's like funny, but it's like what the fuck? Why the fuck is statue drags along the hall like that in a very serious horror game? Like I feel like at that moment I was like playing Gmod of like Prop Hunt, and one of the players they take the statue, and just like running away from me is like the fucking seeker. Like that's what I imagine in my head. It's like, what the fuck is going on? That's why I laughed. When I saw the statue drags along the hole, I immediately remember Prop Hunt. Oh my fucking god. Play Legion VR? What is Legion VR? I think you were the horror map person? I am if I'm not alone, yeah. Once in is a pussy. A pussy. Oh, this Exorcist game? I heard it's not that good.
This is Father Phineas Bell. If you're listening to this, I expect that religion has already stained my mind. Do not let him do the same to you.
You have seen humanity up close. What do you believe, detective?
I don't know about the game, but
Do you like
it doesn't get a lot of good reviews. What's that tree? Oh. What the fuck? This looks like some fucking
isn't down
the fuck? This trailer is so cool though.
You have nightmares, don't you, Detective?
Maybe I should give it a try. I actually was, like I told you guys before. Oh, this is the game where you vomited. I didn't know. I was like I said earlier. I didn't know Steam sale was gone, like literally 2 days ago, and I was about to buy two horror games, two horror VR game. Can remember the name. Hold up. New and trending. Where is it? Cyber sex. No. Oh my god. Oh my god. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, it's not new. I forgot what it's called. There's two. One is... Oh my god, Fiat Kanojo. Where is it? Where is it? I can lend you an account so you can play. We could. I'll try to find a time for it. Where is it? Where is it? It looks so cool. One is an action horror, and the other one is just straight up horror. Ragnarok. That game is so fun. Oh, I actually cannot find it. The fuck? Maybe it's not that popular. Wait, Layers of Fear VR. Okay, it's not that good. Wait, Blair Witch VR. Okay, it's not that good either. Fallout 4. Okay, I'm kidding. That's trash. VR Skater? Oh, it's that one. This one is so weird. David, look at this. You skate with your hand in this game. Whoa. Kick flip. Whoa. Your hands is literally your feet in this game. It's like handboard, not figure, it's handboard, the whole hand. Like you actually have to do the actual movement, but with instead of your feet, it's your hand. It's kind of cool. But I don't think, like, I feel like this is just gonna fuck with your brain, or like memory, muscle memory. Like imagine you play this for a year and then one day you go back to skateboard. Like a real one, and in a skateboard you do like hand gestures tricks. Like a dumbass. Oh my god. Holy shit. It's kind of cool. It's a cool concept, but I don't know if I want to get good at it, or if I have interest with it. Oh my god. Where is it? Oh, there's this one. It was not on sale on Steam, but it looks cool. Look at this. It's a rhythm game, but it's kind of interesting concept. Oh, fuck, my internet's dog shit. Okay. No HD. It's like John Wick, but rhythm. Against. It's kind of cool. Saber Fight VR? Whoa, what the fuck? Vroom, vroom. Anti-feet fetish game. Whoa. VRVN? Whoa. Dude, I actually cannot find the game. The fuck? Wait, Warhammer have a VR game? What the fuck? Didn't know that. Ah, Elven Love. Nice. Fam domination. Jesus Christ. Ole. Ultimate Hentai VR 18 plus adult bundle. VR nudity camping. Oh my. Cybersex horny nurses. I can't. I cannot with the naming. Holy fuck. Okay, there's no thumbnails. Oh lord. Oh my god. Car parking simulator? What? Yo, I'm ass when it comes to parking my car. Maybe I need that. What am I still recommend these stuff? You should be fucking grateful. I don't think this is fun ones. Oh, what the fuck is this? Oh, portal to the real world. Oh, that's cool.
Fuck you.
It's only rad. Okay, I literally go to virtual VR titles. It's literally there. All you gotta do is just go there. Okay, I still cannot find the horror game that I wanted to buy. Oh, Gun have the VR? Oh my god. Okay, I still cannot find it, dude. Best of Hentai VR bundle 18 plus adult. Jesus Christ, the debate is so huge. The bait is massive. They can see the bait coming from miles away. I bet a lot of people ate that up. Rain World, Essay Proxy, Escape Academy, Skim. Yeah, I think I didn't even add it to my wish list. Fuck me, dude. Oh, by the way, Essay Proxy is ass. Not getting that anymore. Okay, yeah, I forgot to add it. It's banned in Germany. No! Wait, how do you know? Wait, what? Wait, what? Ayo? Rocking Legend. Whoa! Oh, never mind. It's a Guitar Hero style. Ah, there it is. This is the one.
Did you see the serpent out in the swamp? Did you see how he can glide over the water, untroubled by what lies underneath? But the serpent, he knows what danger. He knows if he stopped to look, what lies beneath would consume him.
Holy Bible. Yeah. I don't know what the game's about. Okay, this is the trailer. This is the trailer, not that one.
Today you will perform simple memory tests. In front of you is a ball and 3 cups. I would like you to hide the ball under any of the cups, move it around, and reveal the ball. I will observe your progress.
Yep. Yep. If I didn't forget, we could have played this right now. Hmm? I feel like that's good. I like this kind of horror stuff. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Maybe in Excel. Maybe. It's calling you daddy. To the America's Deep South. Really, brother. Hentai VR. Wait, I heard the Westworld VR game is good. I need to check this out sometime. Alright. The coffee that I drank earlier is still taking a hit. Jesus Christ. Why the fuck did I drink coffee at exact midnight? Oh my god. Alright, chat. Dude, look. What's up, Raku? How you doing? What's up, buddy? We're actually already kind of chilling out right now. I'm gonna end in a bit. Holy shit, we've been streaming for 7 hours already. I wish I could keep going, but yeah. Fortunately, I got some family stuff tomorrow. So I gotta stay up for long. But yeah. I'll be back tomorrow though, if I do have some free time. Okay? Kyle is hella waifu. This is Kyle? I know this is Arc Knights. But I didn't play the game, so I don't know all the waifus. Kyle sit. Nice. Gotta do some more research later. Thank you. I do like her hair. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Kind of remind me of a little bit of Fubuki. Got a little bit of Fubuki vibe. It's like cool Fubuki. Alright. But I hope she sits on my face. Alright. Anyways. Thank you guys all for watching. I'm gonna be chilling out here. I'll be back, if not tomorrow, I'll be back on Monday. Thank you guys all for chilling out. Also, if you guys want to check out what I did earlier today for drawing, well, we did play the horror game, but basically for drawing, I finished this. So I actually finished it. It's been a while. So if you guys interested to look at stuff that I drew, stuff like that, twitter.com/raddtrap, or you can just like, you know, go over here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will make do with hand on thigh. I have the stream in the background. I just hear that bruff. That if you're a man of culture, you let girls sit on your face. Nice. I do, but not ayayash. Sure, man. Sure. Oh my, it's fucking chat. Alright. Anyway, peeps, thank you guys all for watching. So today we did finish 1 drawings. I've been going for 3 days, which is this Yua drawing. And then we played a new horror game, so that's an improvement. It's been a while since the last time we played some horror game. It's actually kind of decent. Not bad, not bad. I don't mind you follow a dude that only draw MILFs, kind of sus. Okay, UI is not MILFs, to be fair. So, that's kind of wrong, man. That's kind of wrong. These are so dumb. Oh my god. Yeah. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be streaming tomorrow. Because tomorrow I'm gonna be a little bit busy. Oh, yeah. You made her into a MILF though? It looked like a MILF. Does not look like a MILF. What the fuck are you guys talking about? What is even considered a MILF at this point? I literally just draw Yua. Like, that's it. What do you mean? Sure, it's not 100% looks like the avatar, but at least I captured the most of the, you know, the iconic part. It's a little milfy too. Dude, the drawing gives me a babes of 30+ year woman that looks young. Oh my god. At this point, I think you're just you know, you're just telling things about yourself, Raku, okay? I got a feeling that I just have so much followers that actually thought I'd just draw MILFs. That's it. Like, holy. I mean, I really like MILFs. draw films. I don't. The thing is that I don't know what is qualified as a MILFs, so I don't fucking know. I just draw girls a lot. MILFs are the best. MILFs are my religion. Oh my god. Come for a trap, stay for the MILFs. I mean... This does not look like MILFs. It's very young, you know? Very... You know? Right? Am I into MILF? Damn. Maybe I am. Looks like Big Sister. Is it though? Okay, this one, sure, but this is literally Aphrodite. Aphrodite is kind of, you know, is kind of that. So that's different. This is not. This is definitely not. This is not. This is a MILF. This is not. Look at this. Just wholesome shit, man. And here we do wholesome shit. Alright? Some just fucking wholesome, you know? Not a MILF has to be the biggest copium of rat. Okay, fuck off. Look at this. Look how cool Rain is. God damn. The one below has 34 and the one in the top is 29. This is MILF 100%. Holy shit, you guys. I don't know what's wrong with you guys. Dude, I literally just draw normal girls. He just literally said everything I draw is a MILF. Holy shit. It literally just like normal girls. Many things are wrong with me, but you are the one that draws MILFs and deny it. The thing is, I don't even deny it if I do. But I don't think this is like the aesthetic is like very punk-ish. You know? Oh look. Abs. Male. DILF. Oh. Okay, this one I cannot deny. This one's a little bit yeah. I mean, it's Rhea, okay? Rhea, it's, I still don't remember how the fuck did Rhea design ended up become such a busty character. I didn't even create her with that in mind, but she ended up become so busty over the years. Oh my lord. Yeah. This one looks so good though, holy shit. It's also because the reference is just like me in VR chat. So it's like just so good. The mummy vapes are intense as fuck vibes. V and B is next to each other, man. Look. I need to draw shit like this again. Oh my god, I remember. Oh, this one's so good, dude. This one is so good. Fuck. How do I nail this kind of face again? God, this is so good. How the fuck did I draw this? Why is it so good? By the way, Okayu herself liked this. Like the tweet. So cool, man. So cool. But holy shit. This one is still probably one of the best face that I do. It's so nice. The thing is that I cannot always land at it like this. Maybe that's what it is. Every character have the smug MILF face. Huh? Okay, this is an actual MILF. This one's so cute. Request. Okay. Is the smug face a MILF trait? All MILFs and a trap. Oh my god. Okay, this one is not that. This is not too smug. This one is just cheerful. Well, not cheerful, just like very natural. You know why you say it's a MILF vibes? It's a combination of busty and short hair. Is it? Is it not? I think that's like a very generic MILF. Stereotypical. Though. Kitty! Oh, such a high quality kitty photo, by the way. Goddamn. So elegant. Hubba hubba. Sheesh. Easter Bunny. Katie. I mean, it does work to make it look like a MILF. I believe your drawing style is MILF type. You're stuck with it. You'll let you draw MILFs your whole life. You're so dumb. You're so dumb. Like, I draw traps as well. Oh, this one is so fucking nice. I also cannot replicate this. Dude, look at those. God damn. Holy shit, this one is so good. Oh my god. I really need to draw a lot more often with VR chat reference. It really helps. It really does help. Like, it makes the post so much more natural. Because it's exactly what I want. Oh my god. fuck? I did this. What the fuck? What? Sometimes it just baffles me when I browse through old stuff, and I was like, what? I draw this? Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, holy shit. Look at the shading here. Like, you can feel the 3D proportion here. And like, obviously here too, but like, you know, I'm in... Okay. uh... Oh. Oh! I'm so proud of this drawing. Ole. Blythe. This is so fucking good. But all things considered. Holy shit. I nailed Blythe. I nailed this one. Like, you can feel, like, from just looking at the head, you can sense the 3D, the depth of the drawing. Like, you can feel the depth of the head based on the shading and the shape of the oh my god, I wish I can do this stuff like every single drawing. It's really hard to do this consistently. Like, how the fuck did I do this? Fuck. Drawing for me is actually sometimes feels like gambling. Sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't. It's so weird. It's an old drawing of Katie and Rain. This one's also pretty good. Furry. Omega lol. So it's nice to browse old drawings. It's a little bit motivating. Draw more of these, please. Hey, yeah, I actually that's the main reason I created this too. Actually, that's how Rain and Katie came along. Just want to do more romance drawing stuff. Yeah, definitely coming more. Alright. Anyways, chat. I'm actually gonna reel it for real this time. For real. Gonna end the stream here. So it is pretty late. But thank you guys all for watching anyway. Appreciate much love every single one of you for chilling on the chat side of the stream. My man only dropped in Mil Fury. Hey, I mean, my man, Sin of the One, you know, always blesseth me with big knowledge and research. So, you know, I got a good sensei. All right. Well, we just browsed through my Twitter. If you guys like what you guys see, follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/raddtrap, or you can type an exclamation socials in the chat. You get a link. Blessed with your It's a through visual novel. What's it called again? Golden Love? Love Golden or something like that. I forgot. Oh, Yuri VN are so good, by the way. Actually. Alright. Anyways, if you're new here, don't forget to follow the channel if you haven't. Follow me on socials, Twitter and Instagram at twitter.com/raddtrap or at raddtrap on Instagram. And all that kind of shit. Also, if you want to hang out with the peeps off stream, you can join the Discord. Our Discord at !Discord. Or you can also scroll the panel down below if you want to do this and that. All that kind of shit. You know? Also notify whenever I go live on Twitter and Discord. Both. So you're gonna get notified outside Twitch. There you go. You can do either of those, whichever you like. But yeah, obviously, don't forget to follow the channel if you're new here. And I hope to see you guys again on the next one. Until then, thank you guys all for watching. Thank you everyone for chilling on the chat till the end of the stream. Thank you Yui, Onsen, Raku, Jigs, Saints, No, Gagara, Nell, Sudo, Yua, obviously the main star of the day, and everyone else who I forgot to mention or lurking with the stream open in the background while you're doing your own stuff. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for spending your time with me, this random strangers on the internet. Love you all. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend or the rest of the weekend, obviously. Once again, if I don't see you guys tomorrow, I'm gonna see you guys on Monday. All right. But yeah, just keep an eye out on Discord and Twitter. Whenever we go live, I'll notify you guys over there. Okay. Once again, good night, everyone. Thanks for chilling out in the chat as usual. Good night, Yui. Thank you. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.